The Unorthodox Haven will cover a wide range of topics to offer unique perspectives, pushing back on conventional wisdom. We hope to inspire self-discovery over emulation. We believe you should think outside the box, regardless of what it looks or sounds like to others. Here at Unorthodox Haven, there is no right or wrong answer, just your own unique perspective. What made you get into podcasting, first of all? Like, what about podcasting was alluring?
Mainly because, like, for my friends and people who are close to me, even like my family, my mom, my dad, like, it doesn't matter what age they are, essentially, even if they're older than me, I was always a person people came and spoke to. And I never was like I don't choose sides. I'm fair in my assessments.
You never choose sides?
No.
I don't think that's possible. But
I'm telling you. Now I learned in my relationship to, like, not speak my mind all the time. Like, I was like, in public, yeah, I'm with you. Behind closed doors, like, come on now.
All right, so
all
right, just to push back on what you say you don't pick sides. So you believe in good and bad?
Yeah.
You do believe in good and bad.
So I get what you're saying. All right, when I say this, as far as my assessments. So if I have two people in front of me who are my friends, and one maybe my lifelong friend.
Okay.
If you tell me what your situation is, I'm not going to tell you what you want me to hear. I'm going to tell you exactly what it's supposed to be.
I got you.
And that's just what I do.
You're able to remove your biases, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't see the point of me lying.
For sure.
And if it's not helping you, essentially, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't see the point of doing it.
Fact. All right.
I just weighted options. Like, look, this is what I think.
So then, all right, so to continue, so that got you into, that made you want to do podcasting?
Yeah, because like I said, like, the people in my life, and just through my life, whether it's entanglements, relationships, friendships, I'm always the person people lean on. I just realized that it took a lot of my energy.
Talking to people?
Always
like an empath, you pull.
Like, I feel what you're going. I can understand what you're saying from what you're saying, and feel it, essentially. So I got to the point where I was like, all right, how can I control this type of communication with people? I'm gonna do it on my own means. And when I started looking at podcasting and seeing how people are moving, I was like, well, shit. If I can learn how to just approach all these conversations and pull them up from what I remember and give the information out there without having to feel people as much, I can do better. And I don't take them from me, because I still need my personal well-being and my mental health, essentially.
Right. Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't really like giving people my time. Like, when it comes to energy and shit, that shit do be draining sometimes. You know what I mean? If somebody trying to ask me advice, I mean, I got to empathize with you to give you good advice. You know what I mean? So I kind of got to, like, hop in your feelings and shit. But a lot of times I don't mean me want to even be that way. You know what I mean? I be like, I ain't trying to be mad. I ain't trying to be upset. I ain't trying to be whatever you got sometimes. You know what I mean? So I feel what you're saying. Like, having a conversation from a distance. Yeah. That's the value I find in podcasting well. But I slipped into this shit. I ain't never want to be on the mic. The only reason I got on the mic was because that shit was like, you can come out, bro. You good. Only reason I got on the mic was I want to do podcast production. But I was like, yeah, I'm the type of person that if I'm gonna do something, I gotta get it, I gotta do it to understand it. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm gonna record myself talking to people just so I can figure out like the art of conversation in front of a microphone. Right. What happens when the cameras come on? What contingencies I'm gonna have to deal with on the production side? So I'm like, let me just do this shit and just take the audio, figure out like, I need this kind of mic, that kind of mic. Or I need people to talk closer to the mic. I need this kind of situation. Or you know what I mean? It helped me learn shit. But then once I was in it, I was like, shit, this shit is kind of dope, because this is like therapy almost. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's giving me a chance to, like, open up and talk about some shit I wouldn't normally talk about. You know what I mean? Or I probably would talk about in a regular setting, but the fact that I know that other people are going to hear it, it kind of made it a little more empowering. You know what I'm saying? I have those kind of conversations with my peoples all day. I motivate niggas all day, like, yo, son, this, you know what I mean? If you moving wrong, I'm the type of nigga going to say something to you. But I started realizing, like, having those kind of conversations on the mic and pushing back on people on the microphone, other people hearing that shit.
Exactly.
That should have started a conversation in their household.
Yeah.
And that's like, this shit is kind of dope. You know what I mean? So now I stuck with it.
Yeah, I went through that phase because I used to feel as if, like, when I had conversations with people, I was trying to figure out, all right, what's my purpose behind these talks? And I realized with some people, you're probably not going to change their mind. Like, you're going to have a skewed way of viewing something, and I'm not going to change your mind, right?
Fact.
But maybe if I can use my words in a way where I make you answer certain questions, that even though you might not see that you're walking yourself down a certain path,
fact.
somebody else is watching like, damn, I think the same way. I look crazy like that? You know what I mean? So it might not be for that person I'm talking to. It could be for somebody else.
You been in therapy?
Yeah, since I've been like 14.
14 for real? That's just so it's crazy to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like so you been in therapy before?
Yeah.
Like since young man, old man?
Nah, I've been in therapy as soon as I got the whole 3 years I was in prison, the end, and when I came home. So I still do time to time therapy. I like therapy. It's fun.
So in what way?
Every way, because I could vent what I want, and whatever I say, I know somebody else could relate. So,
So the person that you doing therapy with, they look like you?
No.
They of different color? Are they white?
Yeah, they white. Yeah.
And so, is your therapist white?
Yes.
Always been white?
No.
There's the reason why you...
I did it through so when I was younger, I had issues with manic depression. I was left and right constantly. And so I was primarily a white therapist. And then as I got older, I had my first kid, had my son. I was having issues and I couldn't figure out what my problems were. I couldn't figure it out. And then I found the pastor at the church. He said he knew a therapist. He was a black man, and he can kind of understand my struggles a bit.
Yeah.
And then he kind of talked to me for a while, and I would just do it just over time. Like it was just based off of whenever I contact him, say, "Hey, I just want to talk about stuff."
Okay.
And that's kind of how I moved with that.
So it wasn't a therapist. You were just having therapy with someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all right. So this is I ain't never been to a therapist before, right? And you said you ain't never been to a therapist until
I went to prison.
Until you went to prison.
A behavior program. So it got to why I think and why I think and how I think and why I think. And I got to the point of my core belief of where my behavior was going left from my past history from when I was a kid. So
you was looking for answers. So you was searching for.
No, there's something that you got to do in this program. If you don't, you getting kicked out.
But what's stopping you from getting there lying? Or just faking the funk just to pass the time?
When you faking the funk and pass the time, you can't relate. When somebody speaking from within a different person, you could teach a person. They could learn a lot from what you went through. You know what I mean? So when we having these conversations like this, he might be going through something that he might know how to get through. And when he talk, I'm like, yo, I went through that part, and you know what I'm saying, this is what I did moving forward, so it could help people out. You know what I mean?
So my reluctancy with therapy, I just talked about this earlier. My reluctancy with therapy is that the person on the other side of the table never looked like me. So I automatically was like, yo, you're not gonna be able to help me, like, cause you automatically have certain cognitive dissonance inside of you because you don't know what it's like. I would judge, and I can say that it ain't all fair, but that I would say, like, listen, man, you're not even of my color. You probably don't come from where I come from. You ain't been through the shit I've been through, and you probably ain't got family that been through what I've been through. So you can't, there's nothing you're gonna be able to help me with. But this is my view of therapy for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it got to be somebody that look like me in order for me to even think about it. You dig what I'm saying?
See, it was Spanish, black, white, all of them. They was all in there. So it wasn't the color. It's about looking at things from an objective point of view.
Let me ask you a question. Were the therapists, were they also prisoners?
No.
So they was outside.
They was outside officers, but the inmates, we basically ping pong off each other and got ourselves through our predicament because we went through similar of the same thing. So we basically taught ourselves. And when some people open up intimately of what they going through, some people got molested. These are real life trauma that happened to these people. You know what I mean? Right. So they open up and helping everybody else. If they're going through a situation, they could come over them hurdles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just discredit it. I always discredit that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I would have did too, but
like,
you know,
like what you
I
really going? Yes,
I was forced in it. So it's like, well, let me give you a chance. You got 2 years off your sentence. Not take this 9-month course. You get 2 years off this sentence, or you could stay in here for another 2 years and have your family waiting.
Okay, so it was
It's like me looking at the bigger
picture. Yeah, it's no brainer. So you was forced into it. So, but once you got in there, you saw the value in it.
I went and regret it because I didn't even know how to articulate myself in a certain way. So now I know how to talk within instead of just spitting out the mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I was always talking at a person instead of talking to a person. You know what I mean? So
dope.
It taught me them ways too. It taught me a lot of things.
So like this, I think I know the universe is trying to push me towards therapy because the shit just keep coming up. You know what I mean? And to the point, I start bringing it up with motherfuckers just to see how everybody that I get around feel about it or went through it. Because a lot of motherfuckers is like me though. Like a lot of my homies and shit, they like, yo, man, I ain't trying to go to therapy. Like for what? And you know what I mean? Like half that shit is because nobody I ever looked up to or grew up around mentioned therapy, talked about therapy, and talking to someone is kind of like frowned upon. You know what I'm saying? Like man up. Like you know what I'm saying? That was the motto around.
Keep
Yeah.
everything inside, bottle it up. But
they didn't even say it like that though. They just was like, "Yo, man up." Like they didn't even know how to articulate that. They saying like keep it inside. They didn't even realize what they were teaching me. They were just some shit that just passed down.
I think that's a culture issue.
it definitely is.
It's a culture issue because, like, especially as being a man, you know, if you think about the difference between women and men, right? For men, if we go through something, we're judged, right? We're judged, we're approached in a certain way. We're like, toughen up, tighten up. Even if we're going through something, nobody asks us questions first. They just go at it. A girl goes through something. What's wrong, baby girl? What's happening? Like, they get coddled from the jump. And people speak to them differently. But for us, we're told that if we express ourselves, we're weak, we're soft. But weakness, my opinion of true weakness is a person who can't control their emotions.
Right.
So if you don't have practice of controlling your emotions from being younger, how can you do it when you get older?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Well, hormones and everything in your body, like
We ain't got the proper tools too.
We weren't giving it.
We was basically hotwired. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it on I was basically hotwired. So for me to understand that, we was taught to shut up, this and the third, have your emotions in. You know what I mean? This is how we were taught. But now that I got the right tools, I know how to express myself in a different way and not lash out.
right.
So that's mostly.
And I'll add to what he was saying. You know, you're not the only person that feels pushback from approaching that or doing therapy. You know, like everybody has their reasons for it.
Yep.
Until you actually do it. When you actually do it and you realize, damn, they're saying the same stuff. Now, granted, I feel like after you get into therapy, then you should get to the place where you start choosing who you want, which is not a problem.
For sure.
But I had a partner in this therapy as well, and I kept asking, like, he talked to me. We'll talk about his sessions, and he will say, I don't think she gets it. I'm like, why are you saying that? Well, she's a woman. She don't get what I'm talking about. Like, well, what did she tell you? And the thing she told him is the same thing I will tell him. But you feel as if it doesn't mean something because she's telling it to you.
He devalued it off the jump.
From the jump because he had a bias towards it. Like,
Yeah,
again,
same thing like I had.
as I'm
For
saying,
shit
there's everybody has their reasons for having biases.
Yeah.
You just gotta,
It's like,
just jump in there. You know what I mean?
it's like going to a playground with me. I have fun.
Yeah, that shit is
When you get to it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I have fun. Like
you know that for me is that I'm an introvert. I'm a loner. I've always been a loner. I've always been a nigga to walk the opposite way that everybody else walking, just because that's just
me too.
That's just in my nature. And so, once I, just speaking for myself, once I made it through some shit a couple times by myself,
right.
you know what I mean? That was all I needed for me. Because then it's like, you know what I mean? Why would I made it through the worst of the shit. You know what I mean? I felt like at the time, like I went through that. And this shit right here, like, there's no need for me to go lean on nobody else, because just like I made it through the other shit, I'm going to be all right and I make it through this shit.
But
you know what I mean?
Dealing with your inner self, man, is totally different. And when somebody can help you point things out and see it from a different perspective, you look at a lot of things from an objective point of view.
See, I hear the opposite about that though. So what I mean is that what I heard about therapy is that they don't do that. They give you the tools to do that for yourself. Like that's how therapy was explained to me. They're like, they're not going to tell you what's wrong with you. They're not going to like guide you to say, hey,
they ain't no problem solver. But what they do
just give you
is
the tools.
They give you the tools. So when they give you the tools, I would say, when they gave me the tools, it helped me when I start thinking out loud. That's when I come with my own decision. I vent out loud. You know what I mean? So they'll ask you why. And they keep asking you why.
Yeah,
and then when they break you all down, you be like, oh, man, then all right, cool.
See, I do that shit to myself.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
I'm a serial thinker. I'd be like, now to the point that, like, it wasn't until recent. I'm almost 40 and shit, right? And it wasn't until recently that I had to like check myself and realize some shit that I cared about was going on around me that I've been acting like for years I ain't give a fuck about.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't even know when I even turned that corner when I started giving a fuck about that thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I had to check myself. I'm like, I can't get mad because I ain't never gave a fuck about this shit before at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know when I started caring about this shit, but I don't know why I had a point for even going up. What the fuck was I about to make a point? My second time doing that shit today.
I think maybe what you're trying to say also is like, you got to a certain place in life where you felt a certain way for a long time. You don't know how you got there.
Yeah.
Therapy helps you figure out that turn to either get past that turn or prevent that turn moving forward. Because we do feel a lot of things. We all go through stuff and we're constantly evolving. So whether you're self-aware of yourself or not, when you live through life and you go through experiences, you tear something down, you got to build it back up again.
Yeah.
And then you're evolved. And once you've evolved, you might have gained some new traumas that you don't know are traumas.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And then it just helps you get there. That's why I think what he says when it makes it fun to him is because, like, yeah, at some point you're like, listen, like it gets easy. You got somebody who you can bounce your ideas off of. They can kind of throw it back at you like, oh, I'm tripping. Cool. And you can just get there quicker. And then eventually therapy is more so of less of an unpacking thing, but more of a process building situation. But initially you unpack. You unpack and unpack and unpack and unpack to the point we get.
You know what to pack all of it at one time. You don't got to hold nothing. Then as soon as you come, so first you come off, you go be kind of slow rolling. But when you get the thing on the wings of things, man, you go. Yeah, this and that. You go put it on the table.
See, it wasn't until recently though, man, that I've even started noticing some of my past traumas, or even started like even calling them traumas. You know what I mean? Exactly. It wasn't for the last couple of years because I've been moving a lot of my life where I thought shit was normal because it happened around me all the time. Like, yo, this shit is normal. Like, so what shit would happen when niggas get in fights or niggas start shooting or whatever the case it was, that shit was just normal to me. Like, I would brush that shit off. Yeah. And people would tell me like, yo, son, that shit is not normal. Like, for you to be able to be, like, I used to have a temper. I used to be quick to punch a nigga in the face. Like, you know, I wasn't trying to kill nobody. I want shit like that. But I was always trying to fight. You know what I mean? So, but it was times I'd be like, yo, what the fuck was I? You know what I mean? In hindsight, like, something like, I look back on like, yo, what the fuck type of time was I on? You know what I mean? Because I risk it all for nothing.
Facts.
Just, you know what I mean? Out there just living and shit. So,
but it's so many people in their late 50s, they still going through this trauma and they ain't got it right yet. Fact. And they so stuck in this matrix that they don't even want to get it right. It's like you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
A lot of people fall victim to that.
Yeah, so.
Especially with food. Like, I can't, you know what I mean? On the mental health part, I ain't really experiencing that space. But when it comes to food, that shit is a fact there, boy. People fall in these cycles of just eating the way they eat and taking care of themselves and not really taking care of themselves. And I tell people all the time, yo, don't wait till the doctor to tell you to do this shit, dog. They're going to tell you to take care of yourself at some point if you keep going down this road.
Your body ain't used to what it used to doing when
it can't sustain
younger.
that long. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it can sustain a long ass time. 15 years, 20 years of abusing your body, and you probably going to feel normal. But after that 20 years, or that 22 years.
You try to bounce back. I did a video about that. It's actually interesting that plantation foods is the same thing as soul food. Same thing.
I call it slave food.
Right. So why are we still?
I call it slave food every time somebody, yo, my mom, I'm not eating that slave food.
Exactly.
They get mad.
But you know, you think about it. You eat some food, you get the itis.
Yep.
Food's supposed to give you energy.
Yep.
You're not supposed to be tired.
For sure.
Facts.
So what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, it is super obvious until you change those habits.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, I can't do that no more. But most people don't believe it, or you tell a person you gotta do this, you're like, I can't do that. I'm like,
eating
yes,
the right
you can.
way is saying a diet. Eating the right way in America is saying that you want to diet.
It should be a lifestyle.
It's not a diet. It's you eating the right way.
Eating the right way.
You know what I mean?
Man.
So,
I preach that shit, man. Take care of your fucking body. I'm real strict about what I put in my body. I ain't ate meat and it's probably been like 8-9 years at this point. You know what I mean? I'm at the point like I'm a year and some change. Yeah.
So I've been out a year. I've been out a year. So yeah, it's probably about like 14 months I ain't ate meat.
I don't think I'm ever going back. I was talking about shit earlier today too. I don't think I'm ever going back to meat, bro. I ain't paused. But I don't think I'm fucking with it no more.
Shit,
you know
when you met me, I was a vegetarian the first time.
Was it?
Yeah, I
don't
was
remember
eating back then. Like I was 170 pounds. I was eating. No
you
meat.
was way smaller back then.
I was way smaller. I got really, really sick.
Like,
cut a lot of stuff. And I started working out. Like I just started hitting.
Wait,
like,
was it COVID?
Before COVID.
Oh shit.
I got really sick.
Damn.
And I just made a lot of changes to my life. But one thing I did, I stopped drinking as much. I stopped eating certain things. I don't touch fried foods. I don't do processed foods. I don't do any of that type of stuff. I'm very aware of what I take in. My proteins, like I bench. I lift heavy.
What's the difference that you feel with yourself with the eating habit change?
I have more energy. As I get older, like even when I go to the doctor, I constantly go get checkups, and she's saying you're better. You're better than what you were before. Like your blood work looks good. Like you look good. You feel better.
Get in detail about the energy though. When you say because like, a lot of people hear that and like I don't.
All right.
You know what I'm
so for instance, even the fact that I consume maybe about 200 grams of protein a day, and I do it consistently just because of how I lift. I'm never stuffed. I'm never tired. I never have the itis. I never have any of those things. But I still can consume them as much as I do without feeling it. And the reason being is like, for one, I don't eat until I'm full. I eat till I feel good. I'm like, cool, I'm good, right? I got what I needed out of it. And then secondly, I have a very crazy schedule. And to do the schedule I'm doing, the way I move, and the fact that I'm rarely tired, and I still have energy to do whatever I feel like doing, like most of the time, is solely because of how I consume.
I preach this to everybody, dog. Like I went through so many years of my life getting 4 hours of sleep every night, but I ate good. I took care of my body, and they was like, yo, how you? 3 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep, I was good. I ain't need nothing else besides that. And sometimes I would break it up 2 hours, and then I would get up and keep moving, and sleep 2 hours again, and then keep it. That'd be my day, and I would never be tired.
You can see it in your face. You can see it, just when you wake up and you get up and how your body feels.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, but I think it's more so you're paying to yourself. You're paying back to when you get in your 40s and 50s. That's what you're doing. You're conserving yourself. So when you get to your 40s and 50s. You feel good. You still can move around. You see people like, well, how old are you? Oh, I'm 55. Like my dad. 2 weeks ago, Labor Day weekend, my dad came down. My dad has a self-defense school. He was military. He's always been clean.
Yeah.
And at 56, 57 years old, he's around there. Like, that was the first time he went to the club. I don't drink liquor like that. Like, this is like sake, whatever. I don't drink like liquor like that. But, I went out with him. His energy was still better than mine. And I was like, he 5 in the morning, he's coffee, he's working out, he's in my backyard. I'm like, and he's just like, I can't stop moving. I'm like, what do you mean? So when I stop moving, I die. But his energy was like, I'm like, Dad, like you're moving, like you're not tired. He's like, no, I ain't tired. What you talking about? Like I'm always moving. But he's always training. He's always moving. He's always eating. He's specific. He's very specific to what he puts inside of his body. Besides liquor. He's very specific. Very specific, yeah. But he looks good though. Like people didn't know how old he was when he went to the club with me. You're like, your dad? Like my dad, he don't look old.
Have you seen that? Is a documentary on Netflix about people who live over 100 years old?
I heard about it. I didn't see it.
And so they broke it up. They call them the blue zones, and it's like where people live to be over 100 years old. Like there's a lot of people that's like over 100 years old. They have populations. You know what I mean? So they went there to try to figure out like, what are these people doing to live this long? You know what I'm saying? And so they broke it up into like a pie. And I might be getting this shit kind of fuzzy, but a lot of that shit was movement. All the attributes of these people, they keep moving. They wake up every day. They got these routines. They just never stop moving. They have things to do. They have goals to make, and that's a big part of it.
Structure.
Community is another part of it. A lot of these people, they have like a lot of people around them. They're helping out. They laughing all the time. Stress is low.
Good energy.
And what they eat. And there's another one too. I can't remember what the other one was, but what they consume.
Yep.
They said beans. Beans was at the one thing that was in everybody's diet that was living to be over 100 years old. And don't quote me. It might not have been everybody, but it's a big percentage of all these people that live in these blue zones.
Yeah.
That beans is one of the common things. That's one thing that did stick out to me. And I eat a lot of fucking beans, you know what I mean? Because I don't eat meat, so I got to get my substance from somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I could see that, especially back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day. So, yeah, something to it, man. Something to that thing. What you saying? Moving. Keep moving.
He keeps moving. He has his structure every single morning. He gets up, meditates, he works out. He's just like, what you doing? You sleep late here. I'm like, what? It's like 7:30, bro. You sleep late. It's 7:30, man. What do you mean?
Let me switch the topic a little bit, man.
Right.
Actually, a question. So you got kids, right? How many kids you got?
2.
You got 2. How many kids you got?
1.
And how old's your daughter?
15.
15 years?
16. Yeah.
15 years old?
Yeah, she about to be 16.
Yo, why I ain't know that? God damn.
Scary hours.
Yeah, she 15 about to turn 16.
Yo.
Yeah.
Hold on. You must have been young boy.
I was about 19 going on 20. That wasn't too young. That's kind of good.
How old were you when you had your first kid?
I think I was like 21.
21?
Yeah. 22.
Damn, you got a big ass. I thought your daughter was young, dog.
No.
I could have sworn you had like an 8-year-old or some shit like that. You got you about to have a 16-year-old?
Yeah, she about to be 16.
That shit crazy. All right, so you sat down for 7 years. Big chunk of her. How long you been home?
A year, 14 months.
14 months.
Yeah.
So you was sitting down a big chunk of her life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had another conversation on the podcast with my homie Donnell. He did 22. I think he did 22.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned him before to you.
Yeah.
But he brought himself home on clemency. You know what I mean? He did 22 and got himself out. And the mother of his son went on. She married again. You know what I'm saying? He did 22 years behind the wall. So his son grew up not knowing his father at all, right?
Yeah.
So when he came home, it was hard. You know what I mean? Because he didn't know. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, I don't even know you. Like, you know what I'm saying? The other person is really I've been the father figure for. He's like, I don't know you. And one thing that he, you know what I mean, he shared a clip from the podcast with his son. And that was like the catalyst for him and his son to kind of get their relationship back on track. But the question I wanted to ask y'all is, have you ever like actually like have conversation with your daughter to like understand who she is? And let me preface it when I say this, right? Like, not like looking at the thing that she likes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not what she's into or what she does, but like how she likes you to talk to her. How she actually receives information. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if you got, maybe I should have asked if you even got a relationship with your daughter.
No, you could do. That's good.
You know what I mean? Do you have a relationship with your?
Yeah, I got a great relationship with my daughter. The same tools that I learned in the program I was in, that's how I utilized me and her relationship, and me and her went counseling together. So I knew it affect her in so many ways because I've been talking to her on the phone.
Oh, so you kept in contact with her the whole time?
Yeah,
the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time. We write letters to each other and all. So I learned how to talk another language to her. I was learning how to talk to her instead of at her. So I didn't know these tools before I went in. Okay. So I didn't expect her to know what she know. She was so open to it. I'm like, dog, she got the tools already when you ask her these questions. You know what I'm saying? I asked her how it affect her, you know, certain things that I'm not there and present, you know what I mean? She know everything. Like, me and her got a good bond.
That's dope though, man. I'm happy as fuck to hear that you actually took the time to do that, because you know a lot of people go behind that wall, bro, and you know what I mean, the relationship with their kids dwindle, and it might not even be by their choice. A lot of times it's the woman that want, you know what I mean, they want to keep the kid away from that system. Like, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to. And I'll be honest though, like, so I can imagine what it does for a kid to go visit their father, whoever, in jail, right? And I think this is the shit that I think about, right? So we all know a lot of our kids, especially our daughters, they pull things from their parents. Usually, a lot of times, when a young lady grows up, when she settles, she'll end up dating someone with the qualities of her father, or she'll give them those flaws that this man had, that her father has. She'll give in to those, you know what I'm saying? Or she'll start interpreting that as love, because hey, my father went through this, so you know what I'm saying? Oh, we still good. Yeah, I restarted it. So you know what I mean? So I think about that. So when I think about that, like, do you want your kid to come see you behind the wall, and then that affect her when she gets grown? Or do you want to kind of protect her from that? Let her live in a kind of, maybe it's a false world, but live in a different kind of bubble, so your expectation of man is not this.
No, I do not. We had to talk about that too. You know what I mean? I told her I made some wrong decisions, and it was selfish due to the fact that I was saying I was doing it for my family, I really was doing it for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, it's all about taking accountability and, you know what I'm saying, moving forward. So we'll figure out what we gonna do next. You know what I mean?
That's
so
fact.
To get things better, because I want a better relationship, not just with my daughter, with my mom and all. So these tools I use, me and my mom got the best relationship too, because we didn't have a lot of things I didn't have coming up that I was looking for in the household that I didn't have. But now do I know how to speak to her in the right manner? This is what she's showing: more affection, hugs, I love you more, you know, things I didn't have when I was coming up, you know. So. All
right, so I'm glad you said that, right? Because that is the common thread, right? So every time I talk to someone, and especially other men, right, we always talk about the conversation about the relationship between us and our parents, right? And a lot of times, especially in our community, our parents don't be having the tools, or the situation is kind of fucked up, or oppression plays a part, or the drug thing played a part in our life. It's some kind of way where the structure of our family is kind of broken, right? So our parents do the same thing. They give us the things that they didn't have, right? So this is the thing that I found out to be common, though, is that a lot of times when you get into your 40s and 50s, right, when I talk to these older guys and talk about how their relationship with their parents, they talk about all the fucked up shit, all the things that kind of like the bad shit they pull from their parents. You know what I mean?
Right.
The bad things. It's always the, you know what I mean? The stick out to most of them is the negative shit. You know what I mean?
But I feel like they did what they could do.
But
They didn't know no better. It's the blind leaving the blind.
But that changed the fact how it affected you.
No, it don't.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
But
so
it's not for me to hold a grudge to them because they did the best they could at that moment.
that's hard to tell somebody that has a person to point at for what they know is a flaw.
I'm gonna keep it on me. I can't sit here. See, I never had a father. My father died when I was like 3 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't keep making an excuse and I'm 40 years old saying my daddy wasn't there to take me to the fair and none of that.
I don't think it's making an excuse, but I also think that you realize that a lot of your actions were attributed to not having a father, yeah?
Yeah, that's one of my core beliefs.
But that's what I'm saying. So if you can say that, hey, the absence of this person caused me to make some fucked up decisions in my life. You know what I'm saying?
That was on me. I can't say that. It was on me.
Was it on you?
It was on me because I was there.
Or was it on your circumstance?
But you can learn from what you don't have.
Yeah.
Too.
So
that's
it never
after the
stopped
fact.
me.
I think now after the fact.
Oh yeah. You talking about his the choices he made initially.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree. Like, but you can't.
Yeah, selling drugs. Yeah, doing that at my time. I was selling drugs, but it never stopped me for what I really wanted. So when
you don't put the blame nowhere else but on your shoulders.
Not no more.
Initially, you did.
Initially, it did. I did.
My brother, same issue.
I had to come to agreement that I'm gonna have to do what I gotta do regardless. He gone. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, you know,
I
I had a lot of resentment from my mother. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the same. Like, she was there, but
she wasn't there.
I want to make sure I say this shit right. Like, so, you know, my mom, she did the best she could, right? And from my perspective, I was like, yo, this shit kind of fucked up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you did some shit that kind of like stuck with me for a long time. But then once I learned about the shit that she went through, all that resentment faded away. You know what I mean? Because then I was like, oh shit, now I know why you are how you are.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not even like you just choosing to be this way.
Yeah.
Like, you were born into some fucked up shit as well. And you gave me better. And this is the thing that the one thing that I heard from men with their fathers, right? Me and my father had a cool relationship because my father was always around. He was a chill cat. But all the peers I know that had rough relationship with their father, is rooted in that same shit. It's rooted in exactly the same shit, dog. Like, every single time. It never changes. That you treated me a certain way, but listen, you grew up better. You was better than me. You know what I mean? You went out to college. You got a good job. You taking care of yourself now. I think I did good. I thought I did a good job. And motherfucker be like, nah, dog, you didn't, dog. You was a garbage ass father, not for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But from their perspective, they did the best they could.
Yeah.
But doing the best you can, is that enough?
No, I mean,
if it's the best you can.
If it's as best you can, it's how you phrase that.
I think well, I get what you're trying to say. But the best you can at that moment is the best you can. You can't put a wall on that. It's based off of where you are or how you evolved, right?
I think once you equate time into that, do you never change from that? Do you never try to get better?
That's your issue. Not being able to learn from your mistakes.
Yes,
I can tell you. I can piggyback off what you're saying. Like, my dad was military. He was Navy, so he left 6 to 9 months out of every single year. And him and my mom weren't getting along very well. So when they weren't, I was with my mom. You know what I'm saying? So, but whenever he was around, that's my goal. That's my guy, because we were so similar, extremely similar. And I also told you in the beginning of this podcast, I was in therapy. I was like 13, 14 years old. Man, my mom is manic depressive. And she still is. The difference between me and my mother is the fact that I chose to get off of medication. I chose. Around high school, I said, I don't like how I feel. And I learned how to compartmentalize my thoughts, my feelings, and my emotions. Because I'm very aware. I've just always been an aware person. And also, I was lucky that I had a grandmother who was a teacher and psychiatrist.
Okay. Word.
So she always helped guide my thoughts. My mom's been my mom regardless. And I did have resentment with her for an extremely long time. We never got along. But as I got older and I became an adult, I realized, damn, I'm just an older version of who I was when I was 13, 14. That's who she is. And then I became the person who was their therapist. I became the person who we fought tooth and nail. You're disrespectful. No, I'm not. I'm telling you what it is, because this is not right. And I stuck to my guns. And she eventually came back around to me, and you know, we have our moments, but we got back. But the point being is, my younger brother was different than me. My younger brother, 14 years old, 4 counts attempted murder. Like, he wanted his dad. He didn't want me tell him everything. He wanted my dad. My dad wasn't there for it. And he went a whole different path. We had a similar upbringing, but he went there, I went here. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, from what you're saying is, you still have to take responsibility for the choices that you make. I chose to realize when I was without something, I didn't like how I felt. So I'm gonna make sure people around me and my son, when I teach him, I'm gonna make sure he feels the opposite. I learned from not getting shit to make sure I give him what I don't have. That's how I learned. You know what I mean? But I was my dad for a while. It took a conversation with my son. 'Cause I was very tough with him. I'm still tough, but I was the wrong tough with him. And it took him looking at me a certain way. And I was like, I know that look. I know that look. And then I just switched. At that point, I got myself together. And that's when I went back in therapy. To be honest with you, because I something was wrong. I lost everything because of certain things that happened
way of
to me.
thinking.
Yeah, and I said, all right, gotta backtrack. Went to church, got a lot of stuff off my chest again. That's when I went back to counseling, and then I went to church because I realized something is wrong. I didn't know something was wrong. I thought I was being normal, but I was aggressive. I was angry. I was mean towards everybody because of certain conditions in my life.
What did you find out? What was the problem? Why you was acting the way you was acting?
First, the people who I needed to talk to weren't there. Like, I wanted to depend on my mom, but she just mentally was not capable of doing it. Manic depressive people are people who are either you're low or extremely high. If I shifted her emotions, she went low, and she couldn't give me what I needed, or she felt attacked. And then my dad's based off of me having conversations with him and learning about his father and how he was treated. Because he got signed off to leave when he was 16, 17 to go to the military because he just did not want to be in that house no more because of how he was treated. So my dad didn't know how to talk either. My dad, he didn't tell me he loved me until my son was like 3. Like, that was the first time he said love me. I'm like, you all right? Like, he just seemed emotional as hell. I didn't know what his problem was. He was going through his stage.
He didn't know how to give it to you.
He didn't know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? And I love who he is now because he reaches out to me. He talks to me. He says thank you all the time. You help. You saved me. But regardless of it, you know, and I'll even be candid because I don't even talk about this very much. Around 2014, around the time you and me were working 15, I found out I had leukemia. I got extremely sick. That's why I stopped doing music because I got really sick. And that's when I started working out. I decided, I made 2 choices. What am I going to do? Am I going to lay down or I'm going to change my life around and fight this shit? So I fought. So I started working out. Working out was the only thing that gave me short-term goals where I immediately saw some results. I'm getting stronger. So as I got stronger, I felt better. But I was very aggressive because I was still angry because I wasn't dealing with my comments. My mom didn't know I was sick until like 3 years later. Didn't even tell me. Because I didn't tell anybody but my girl.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Because I didn't like being looked at as if I was weak. When I felt weak. I felt defenseless. But when I lost everything, then I went to church and, you know, and I gave myself over to God. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know why I'm so angry. I didn't know what to do. That started my process of me going back to counseling. And from there, I regained my power. My true power. Not the fake, not the fake power. I learned true power.
The mask came off.
Everything came. And I just felt strong all over again. And at that point, I changed how I treated everybody. People didn't believe it at first, but consistently, I kept doing it. My son, I started talking to him. I started figuring out who he was because he was more scared of me than respecting me.
That's what one of my homies, he told me. He had an older son. His son was like 20. He was like, yo, for a long time, I thought I was making my son tough. I was toughening him up. He said one day, man, he called me over like, hey, man, can you pull up on us for a little while? He said, yeah, pull up. So he pulled up and it ended up being like an intervention. And he told him like, yo, every time I get around you, I get nervous. I get scared. Like my anxiety gets up because I feel like something about you know what I'm saying? I just feel like I got to be on guard around you. Like I can't even be myself. And he was just like, and that shit, he said it fucked him up because he thought that he was doing a good
the right
job.
thing. But that's how we been taught but we caught it. As long as we catch it and understand it, then it'd be better off. But I was doing the same thing until I got the right tools to know how to talk. So.
Yeah, the one thing I do want to highlight in this conversation that we're gonna try and switch it up a little bit is see the same thing that we see in ourselves, right? It's the same story over and over again from our parents. We're giving our kids a better than we had, right? They, from their perspective, gave their kid better than they had,
right?
But they never really addressed their flaws. We need to do the same.
Can I add to that?
Yes.
And that's something I did, and I think people should know this for real. Like, so they gave us something different than what they received, right? Which means that we have an upbringing that's different than theirs. That also means that they didn't learn those lessons. So my mother and my father, I gave them both real conversations. As I became more aware, I took my mom separately and said, look, this is how I feel. This is how you actually did.
Yeah.
Now, I'm great, and I appreciate you. I love you. But this is how you did. Yeah. And I want you to understand this. Like, I'm not telling you I don't even need you to say, you're right. I don't need that. I just want you to know you messed up in certain places, and this is where you did it.
Yes.
But I love you, and I appreciate you, and I learned from it. And I told my dad the same thing, and it hurt him for a while. We didn't talk for a minute. And they all came back to me.
Yeah,
and
that's
then,
how it goes.
You know, they all came back eventually, and
Yes.
like, you know what I'm saying?
I just want that, exactly what you just said, dog. Like, I want us to be aware of that now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because like we ain't like, listen, well, we can sit here and say like, listen, you know, all we can focus on say, yo, I talk with my daughter, and you know, I do this and I do that, and
But you gotta,
I got a
show
relationship. But
action.
you know, we all know that we ain't perfect.
Hey,
we all know
I'm still working.
We
It's a
flawing, we lacking somewhere. And sometimes, just like our parents did, you can get caught in the fog of saying, hey, this is the best, you know what I'm saying? I think that I'm doing a good job. Instead of you ain't really addressing what flaws you might have.
Right.
You know what I mean? You might just focus on what you're doing right.
It's a relationship.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely is. So when I came home, I had resentment towards my mom on certain things, and I addressed it. I was like, every time I tell you something, you always trying to talk me out, and that's one thing I don't like. I need you to be in my corner and telling me, do your research, cheer me on. Don't sit here and stop getting me like taking me out from my thought. I was getting so mad because I had a lot of ideas, and they got that slave mentality. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they keep you down. No, you need to work. Nah, I'm not doing that. That's for you and what you doing.
You
so
right.
stop doing that. I need you to be there for me, not against me.
Yes.
Every time, you know what I'm saying? So I addressed that situation. She acknowledged it. She apologized, and you know, things were different. The same thing with my daughter. You know, I talked to her about a lot of things that I didn't do. I want to do with her. You know what I mean? And moving forward, how we gonna do it?
Yeah.
So when we go over these things, I ask her to repeat, what did you get? So she get a clear understanding, because a lot of things that my parents was teaching me, I didn't understand, and and I want to make sure my daughter understand moving forward before we get off this topic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, listen, I 100% agree. I think that one thing that I want people to be aware of though in those moments though is that just like how we growing up now, our parents grew up totally different society.
Yeah, it
different
is.
rules, different everything. Our kids are growing up in a different society.
Absolutely.
They looking at the world differently than how we do. So just like we have to be aware that when we force these rules on our kids, that the world is different for them. We might overstep our boundaries because we might be giving them a perspective of the world, how we see it and how we experienced it. But those experiences might not be valid anymore in today's time.
Yeah, but one thing though, I don't want to, like, our parents cut us off from a lot of talent. Just because what they was going through, they might say no this, no that. You know what I mean? I want my daughter to be open-minded and creative.
So let me ask you a question, right? So, well, I feel you, but you gotta realize we in the South. We in the South too. This is Charleston. So, with that, right? So you gotta think like, so grandparents. I met grandparents that stay in Moncks Corner. Well, we in Moncks Corner right now, but old people stay out here. They tell these kids the same thing, like, yo, don't do this and don't do that, right? But what I realized is that their perspective of the world is that when it was dangerous, it was really dangerous for them to go try to do these things.
Yeah.
It was real danger. You had a real potential of getting fucked up, locked up, killed, or something like that by some racist white person. It was a reality for them. So if you got to imagine, right, if it was a reality for them and you're their kid, they're going to, if that's their reality, that they live through it, it's always going to be real for them if they never really step outside of that and go learn different. So what they're telling you is based on real, concrete shit, because they really trying to save your life. Now, I agree with you 100%. It is a slave mentality that, you know, it is something that I think oppression did on purpose. They purposely did that to our people to fuck our mind, to say, hey, you can't be no more than this. And if you try to, this is what's going to happen. And I think decades and decades of that, dog, it drained the pull out of some people. So
when I was down, right, in them 7 years, everybody was like, how you did it. But I look at it as a positive. I took a negative and turned to a positive, because I worked out every day. I had a whole car. I educated myself with business because the whole time I knew what I was gonna do when I get out. As soon as I drop down, boom. So when I came home, it was so many people. Yeah, you need to get you a job, do this, and start working. I'm like, I didn't want to be in debate because after being around over 1,000 people daily, I stopped debating. I just meet them where they at and leave it where it at. So,
right.
you know, a lot of them kept coming to me. It kind of got frustrated. So I was like, you know what? I just stay away from certain stuff and from that mentality. But the first month I got home, I went and got 5 cars, 5 brand new cars. I put them on Turo. I found out, I stayed on Turo about 6 months. I found out the game, how they operate. I opened up a Turo. Boom. So now I'm branched off like Turo, set up like Turo, but beyond, a little bit beyond Turo. You know what I mean? So I'm working on a lot of stuff now. I've been home for like 14 months. So I got a lot accomplished from LLCs teaching people how to build their credit, teaching people how to get funded from the bank, you know what I mean? Start their own business from scratch without even using their money. So it's like OPM for me. So I accomplished a whole lot, not just going on what everybody's saying, you know what I mean, from around. I had to surround myself with different minded people, yo. Because if I would have went back there, I'd have been stuck in that same
shit,
the same circle, you know what I mean? So I had a conversation with you about 2 days ago.
About 2 days ago.
Yeah, you opened another door for me and how I should look at things.
Yeah, we started talking about chasing money.
Yeah,
about the whole idea. Just, you know, from my perspective, a lot of us get caught up in the rat race of chasing the dollar. You know what I mean? And we all our plans are made around making a dollar. All our goals are planned around making a dollar. And before you look up, man, you don't do shit for self. Everything you doing is chasing money.
Dollar, yeah.
You don't do nothing to make yourself happy, and you will keep lying to yourself saying that if I make more money, that's gonna make me happy.
Right.
And you get more money.
It don't make
and
you
you
happy.
Want more money.
Yeah.
And then you want more money, and then you go, you know what I'm saying? And then really you just got more money and you start buying more shit. It's really, you know what I'm saying, shit that you really don't really need. It's just shit that you have money that you can buy, so you buy.
You know
what I mean? But everything you need is really necessity based, you know what I'm saying? Shelter, food, clothing, transportation. Everything else beyond that is kind of luxury. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
To have a 60-inch TV at this crib and have a game system and have, you know what I'm saying, TV in every single room. It's cool, but it's not necessary. I think we fooled ourselves and be like, damn, you only got one TV? Like we look down on some motherfuckers for having one TV.
Yeah, but our culture's not instilled with investments.
Nah, it's not.
It's
not even
it's about what do you got?
It's society.
Well, yeah, I agree, but our society as well, our culture, you know,
yes.
whether it's change, whether it's, you can look at anybody who gets money, artists, whatever the case might be. Look at the fall of any of them, right? They get their first deal. They buy, let's say they get a $500,000 advance. They buy a $250,000 chain.
Oh yeah.
Like, what type of investment is that? You could have bought you a chain. You could have bought into something that was gonna keep on giving you money, but it's not being taught.
Yeah, it
the
makes
literacy.
Sense. It makes sense to me why they do it though, because the new currency is attention.
Right, but listen, all right, Ocho Cinco. If you already appear to be a certain status, whatever you put on you is gonna look like it's a higher status.
I agree.
So he bought fake everything.
Yes.
And nobody knew it because his value was in himself.
Yes.
So if I'm a major artist, they think I got it, so they're not gonna assume that I bought something fake.
Yeah, fact.
You get what I'm saying? But it's just the way we view currency. But you can utilize it however you want to utilize it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, even with that though, like our culture's even twisted with that because it has to be real. We are obsessed with it has to be official. We have to go to the expensive stores to get the nice shit, the nice jeans with the purple label. You know what I mean? The jeans gotta cost $150 or $200 or $5. Oh no, that should get crazy sometimes.
That's wild.
A t-shirt gotta be $70 and it's a plain white t-shirt with one design on it. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I've always been I'm not even gonna say cheap. I've been a financially responsible person for a lot of my life. You know what I'm saying? So I don't pay for shit like that.
Why were you that way though?
Because I learned early to spend money on life versus things.
Who taught you that? Or it was just like what moved you there?
I think the reason why I know I'm like that is because every summer my mother and my father would send me to my grandparents' house. I lived in Virginia and shit, right? We living in Virginia. It's not country. It's not rural either. You know what I'm saying? It's not like city either. It's like middle ground, right? So we had stores and people everywhere. But every summer I would go down to North Carolina, and it was in the middle of a dirt road country. Like the next house was miles away. You feel me? It was like the middle of the field. My granddad built the house with his hand. No running water, well water outside. No bathroom in the crib. We got an outhouse. You got to pick a piss of shit in the middle of the night. You use the bucket, put that shit outside, dump it in the morning. Because ain't no lights nowhere. So
damn,
they sent me to a place like of deprivation, where it's like, nigga, ain't no people around here, ain't no stores, ain't no TV,
I get it,
ain't no real toys, ain't nothing to do. So figure that shit out. So I would go there every single summer, but I found out how to have fun without having nobody or anything.
Exactly.
I learned how to entertain myself. Yeah, I would learn how to practice playing bat with bees, like, you know what I'm saying?
You got humbled early, huh?
Yeah, and so therefore me. So I guess when I got older, man, like material things just didn't move me, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I went through seasons without having no right. material things.
So whose decision was that to send you there?
My parents.
Right. Mm-hmm. So you got something, even if you even with you resenting certain things, you got something out of their actions.
Yeah, I don't resent them for. I
know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, you know. We feel when we're young, we feel certain ways, because I know initially you're probably like, damn, why you send me out here for? Yeah. But you got something out of it.
I definitely got something.
My dad penny pinch, military dude. They teach you that. I was Air Force in the beginning. They penny pinch.
Nah, it's gonna cause too many bugs. It's gonna cause too many bugs to come over here.
Yeah, penny pinching. But him being the way he was, even though I know he had it, I was like, I know you got it. Why you acting like that? But I learned how to, like. He will tell me money. He didn't probably give me a lot of advice. He told me how to conduct myself, how I walked, how I moved around, be professional, how I dressed. I didn't sack my. He showed me certain things, but money was one thing he told me flat out. Unless you have like a certain amount of money in your account, if it's even if you got it, when you're at this number, you don't got nothing. And when I always understood that if I had a certain amount of money, even though it was more than other people, I undered that. To me, I'm broke as hell right now.
Yeah, it don't exist. That's,
you know
what
I'm saying. And I was taught that way always.
I was, you know, it was crazy because I taught myself a little different. Like, if I got money, the way I looked at money is that I was so obsessed with this living and life. I would just be like, all right, once my responsibilities were taken care of,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I spent my money on life. Like, I didn't blow money. I wasn't with saving money either. But, you know what I'm saying? Now, the flip side of that is that, all right, you know what I mean? I had an option to save a lot of money over a certain amount of time, right? So I look back on 5 years where I ain't really spend no money, and then how my life was. And then I went back on a time period when I spent a lot of money on just life and shit.
Yeah, how made you feel?
Way better, way more lasting memories. You know what I'm saying? Way better spent time. That's the shit I value the most.
But it was valuable.
It's valuable.
It was true value. It was value that was based off of you and not anybody else.
And I just kept in that cycle, bro. Like, right. You know what I'm saying? Now, like, I spend money on life. I don't care about having a big ass bank account. As long as this last year, I've been to so many places. Well, not this last year, but when I used to travel a whole bunch, I've been to so many places that I don't care if I'm broke, because I know motherfuckers is broke right next to me and ain't been nowhere but going to work every fucking day around the way. You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Now, I might be broke with you, but nigga, I done been to 5 countries. I done been to mad states. I done seen and done a lot of shit. You feel what I'm saying?
Your experience is absolutely different.
Yeah,
and it's something nobody can take from you.
For shit show. Yeah.
Nobody can take that from you.
So, all right, so I want to move the conversation to music real quick.
Okay.
What kind of music you listen to nowadays, bro?
All kinds.
Like, what show you have a go to? Like, what's the norm?
I don't relax. I don't go.
This is hip hop,
something
mellow, jazz,
mostly R&B, old school.
Old school.
Like very white. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Sometimes.
Okay. What about you?
Same thing. I'm pretty much old school at this point. Or like, it depends on the moment if I turn it up a little bit. I'm working out, or if I'm in a certain situation, I'll crank it up a bit. But like, I don't really know what's going on as much these days. To be honest with you, like, I know some of the Dirks and stuff. I know some of that stuff, whatever, because Dirk was there back then. But like the new stuff, I'm like, I've accepted the fact that I don't know what's going on. But R&B, that sticks with me. I love it. My best concert I've been to was Drew Hill. Like, it was Drew Hill. Cisco, outstanding, bro. Listen, I know, but I'm
just
telling
see
you,
my face. I'm like, Cisco.
Listen, I'm telling you, I was like, oh shit, I get it. Listen, I saw a Thong song live. I was so I'm like, I don't hear no Thong song. Everybody was like, do the Thong song. He's like, I'm gonna do it. And I'm like, it happened. I was like, oh, shit,
you had the ball, huh?
Bro. It was one of the best shit I ever seen. I was like, I get it now. Listen, Key Sweat show, New Edition show, like Cisco, like all like just something that makes me feel good is where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I like new R&B too, but like just I gotta feel good and connect to it.
I agree, yo.
That's it. I ain't got time for
I
all that
like
stuff, man.
I like hip hop. I mean, I don't knock it. You know, live and let live.
Yeah, I mean, like what do you think about hip hop? Because you come from hip hop. Well, I ain't say a little bit. And they used to rap.
Yeah, it's rap. I actually did a whole R&B album, by the way.
Oh yeah,
It's just crazy. I'm saying it to you, but I was gonna do both. I just focus on rap. But either way, there's some newer rap music I like. Like I like Tyler the Creator. Like he takes it very serious. He's odd, but he takes it serious. But like just, I don't think that the spirit of music of hip hop is what it used to be at the moment, or it could be the fact that it's just not for me anymore.
So what do you think about the culture? You think the culture is fucked up?
Yeah, I mean,
You think the culture's fucked up in hip hop?
yeah.
I mean, I ain't want to judge that, man. You know, it's a different
Right, you don't know.
age and time. Live and let live. You know what I mean? So they in their time, you know, when we was coming up, you see imagine what the OGs used to tell us. Oh, they crazy. Woo,
It's
woo.
just
Now
lying.
it's
It's
our
just
time
lying.
to tell them, but I don't
Right.
want to get. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you look at it like it's you kind of like You think
Well-
it went
Well,
left?
all right. So if you look at who really controls the industry, even the labels is controlled by older white men.
Yes.
So,
That's why I bring it
they
up.
spent energy into investing in certain sounds that they know tore certain things down.
Yes.
And that wasn't going to be a longevity, but they can get the most out of it because people pay mind to it.
That's the conversation I
So
wanted to have.
they did that. They're doing that. So that's one thing that's happening. Everybody sees it. But also, if you look at it, it's getting to the point now. Music execs are not necessarily signing a major acts no more. They're signing Afro beats and certain things because hip hop, for the first time in how many years, is now becoming. It's not number one like it used to be. Like
You don't think so?
so
I think hip-hop's
all right.
still
The
number
first
one.
two. So the
I
first
think
two
pop.
albums. So it's October in 2023. The only two albums that went number one in hip hop was those. No. Sorry, Lil Uzi Vert,
But hold on. Whose metrics are we going off of?
Billboard.
Wow, I got an issue with that.
But the Billboard's been the metric forever.
But who runs Billboard?
But it's still been the metric though.
I disagree with that. I
if
don't
we're
understand.
beating it-
I don't understand why that they are the metric. Why do we make their shit the metric?
Because no. So this is the thing. The wave of music, no matter whether you're pop, country, whatever, follows us.
Okay.
We look at Asian hip hop. They're copying us.
Yes,
if
I
you listen
agree.
to country right now, country is their cadence is hip hop.
Okay.
Pop music, their cadence is hip hop.
Yes,
R&B,
exactly.
so if that's the case, why isn't hip hop? Why isn't rap number one if it comes from us?
It's because it's their shit. Of course, they don't want to give us the power. You dig what I'm saying?
Afro beats is still us. Why is that number one?
So because again, it's not our metrics. That's why I don't understand why we judge our in music specifically the success on what Billboard says when Billboard isn't of the fabric of us.
Well, what's success though?
Like you just said, like your scale just now was Billboard based on you say like hip hop is this space. Look how many
World
number
based.
one.
Now world based. Now, so if you have like the separate R&B charts, is something different. But the world,
Okay,
the charts of the world, right?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Then. What
Right.
about Kendrick Lamar or Killer Mike?
Killer Mike dope as hell,
So
I go with Killer.
so those are culture albums. In the culture,
right?
those are super top level, top tier albums.
I agree.
Kendrick Lamar, they're top tier album. Now Billboard don't want to call it that
For what culture though?
for our culture.
What generation of culture?
What do you mean?
All right, I say it like this: if you pay mind to most of even the comment sections or just 'cause I have interactions a lot. Somebody from our time, Kendrick might pop out or J. Cole might say something. They might say something hella dope like I feel like boom 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 boom. If you look at now, I'm like yeah, it's my dog. I'll be on the side like yeah, boo boo boo. My man, I'll have like 130, 150 comments of people like who the fuck is that? I'm like what do you mean who's that?
But,
like
okay.
but my point being is they have these other artists that are like who appear. I'm gonna say appear. They appear like the Kanyes, the ones who do pop-up shops and everybody shows up.
Yeah.
But if you think about what culture was back in the day, that was us. That was our Nellys. That was our Kendricks. There are people who will show up and create that same type of atmosphere in the generation. But the generation that follows music right now, their artists are not even being viewed.
Okay,
Their
so-
artists don't sell either.
This the pushback I give to that is because the people that's commenting, They're not our culture. Our culture is not in social media that way. So they're not on there commenting on music about J. Cole or a new album. Like the people that fuck with Killer Mike album, they're not getting on social media commenting on somebody else's post about what they said about an artist.
So you don't think everybody's social media at this point?
No, I think it's ran by the kids. I think most of them people on there are not of our generation. They are the generation.
Oh yeah, absolutely
behind
not.
us. So
they're not of generation.
So again,
sure.
But this is also again. So if a rookie comes into the game, right, the new guy, the youngest guy, what value do you hold of his opinion of hip hop as a whole? The person that just got in the door.
I can't hold his opinion because he doesn't care about hip hop.
Exactly my point. So if we're talking about what people are saying on the internet, which is ran and mostly commented on by the people that's not of just our generation, why do we value that shit?
Because it's the machine that they use.
Who use? And who says we got to buy that machine?
But they're using that machines. So here's the sad part about it, right? If you notice that, if you look at all the sales right now these days, the average now is 30 to 50K. 30 to 50K.
Album sales.
Album sales, which is like, however they count up streams, which is weird as hell to me.
Yeah, but again, that's
that's a whole other conversation. But it's even getting to the point now where it's being acceptable. So it's no different than the school system. If you look at the grading system in the school system right now, kids, a B used to be 80 to 90, but now it's like, let's say 75 to 85, whatever the case might be. They're lowering the system. Even when it comes down to hip hop in general, what they're starting to accept now is a lower number. It's a lower exposure rate at this point.
I got you.
Because it's coming down in value. And if you think about it, these white people who control the whole culture, if they recognize the fact that, okay, this hip hop is not working the way it used to be, and it's not being consumed like it used to be, and they move somewhere else, then it also uses value. It's losing its value. Now,
so I think you're skipping over one big part of that though, is the fact that when you said, like, even with the streaming thing, we don't even know what that is anymore. So when we say 50,000, it can really not be that. It could be way more than that. They skewed the numbers to where we don't even know what it is anymore.
But they can't sell shows either. We showed up back in the day.
But that's because that we were real fans. We had to go out and get the music. We couldn't consume. Listen, I can go on my phone right now and listen to every single, name an artist. I can listen to every single one of their songs back to back. Nonstop. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
And so I have access to them. I can go see them on social media. They got pictures everywhere. They let me into their life. I got an insight to that. They might be on podcasts. I can consume my favorite artists without leaving the couch of my house.
Yeah.
That's why they're not selling shows.
Yeah, I'll agree. The way the industry's moving right now is killing the beauty of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think about the DMX, but I remember when DMX dropped 2 albums in 1 year. Everybody was like, it was pandemonium because that didn't happen. Yeah. I'll agree. The way we're consuming stuff nowadays is too fast, so we can't. Yeah. But they're also being forced to drop things too fast. And also the culture is expecting them to drop fast. Because if they disappear for 6 months, damn, you don't fell off. Where you been at?
But then what about people like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar that drop every couple of years?
That was before.
They still do it now.
They got in, but they got in. They created that stronghold before the fall.
Before this became the culture.
They just marketing it different. You know what I'm saying? They're making themselves more valuable.
Yeah, I think we're going.
They had foresight.
I think we're going to end up back there.
They had foresight. No, I agree with you. I do think it's going to slowly go because people are getting tired of shit. Right now.
It is. It's overconsumption.
But the thing is, I'm not. Sometimes I'll be like, am I?
In what aspect? What are they getting tired of? In what aspect?
They're noticing the repetitiveness. They're noticing even the production. They're noticing repetitive. They're that sounds kind of similar. They're noticing it now. Before they didn't give a fuck. Like, everybody was just like, let's do it, drug music. Like, they were just lit.
Yeah, it's getting watered down.
But now they're starting to realize, damn, I can't even play this album again. Like, they're starting to get it. I do think it's going to reset. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I think so too.
I definitely do think it's going to reset.
I don't know how, but I think a different kind of streaming thing is going to come into play.
What's that going to look like? They're going to reset. What you mean reset? I
think it's going to go back to the way it was before. People start respecting music.
You think so?
In what generation? What
I think
not
what
this
century?
Not this one.
Yeah, but I say what century?
Like, which one? Like the 80s?
Not
the
this
70s?
Not this one.
The 90s?
No, I say 2000s.
I don't think it's
2000s.
I don't think it's gonna go back.
I say 2000s.
That's when the beginning.
It's starting to fall. But think about this right now. Once they stop, once they realize, all right, let's pull back the hip hop, because regardless of whether you agree it or not, the industry controls the playlist. And most people hear stuff off a playlist. It gets on Rap Caviar and things of that nature. If you don't get on those type of they control the playlist. People don't really know what to search for. They look at what you give them.
Okay.
So once they start recognizing, okay, these numbers are dwindling. I can't get numbers from shows no more. I'm gonna go and leave y'all alone for a little second. I'm gonna go over here for a while, get this up for a minute, and then somebody and somehow organically is gonna spark something. Somebody will. Who will? I have no. Somebody's gonna do it independently.
I think we're doomed.
Somebody.
I think we're doomed. I think
hope not, man.
I think this shit is about to be over for a minute. I think music is about to tank. The music industry is about to tank.
Think about pop. Remember how pop at one point was like the shit? What are they at right now?
You said pop?
Pop music in general. Remember when pop was like crazy big?
What? So I define pop. Pop is what? Popular, right?
Jason Derulo's the
So that's like EDM, high tempo type shit.
those type of things. They were like the shits. I remember that time. Even how Black Eyed Peas were, like all of them were in a certain area. Matter of fact, we can take it further than that. Alternative rock, even alternative rock and rock at some point was lit. Rock ain't what it used to be no more. Because they realized, now they can go on tour because they got their lifelong fans. White people support differently, but they're not on the mainstream no more.
Yeah, I feel you, and it might be some truth to that shit, man. But I think that also that I don't think the internet is like real life, man. Like,
it's not.
I think a lot of even those facts of saying like, yo, this is not profitable. They not selling shows. I think that shit is all perspective it's all subjective when you know what I'm saying, when you put it next to whoever else. You know what I mean? I think like take for instance Gunna. The internet was killing Gunna.
Killing him.
Oh, yeah, you a snitch, da. He went and sold out the Barclays in a day.
Because he had that quality music.
You dig what I'm saying?
It's a facade, man. It's all that moral stuff. The street world is.
But that's what I'm saying.
It don't work in music no more.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. It's the same thing with all that shit. Like all these numbers and all this streaming shit, man. That shit work now, but the jig is up, man. Soon enough. I mean, I think this shit about to be over, man. All this AI shit, music. Everybody shutting off their catalogs. All the old heads shutting off their catalog. I want to know why. Like everybody, like, oh, they cashing out, but nobody asking why the fuck are they doing this?
They could do some podcasts on.
I don't understand. I don't understand why people are selling off their whole catalogs for these large lump sum of money. What are they about to do with all this music? What are they about to do with it? I think they're going to take it, remix it, and give us the next 20 years of the same music that we know already, and make it sound a little different.
All of it.
They've been doing it. Yeah.
And then push artists out the way. That's what I'm saying. Like now we'll be able to go to playlists. It doesn't matter if the person is real or not. We want to hear something to make us feel whatever we want to feel in that moment. I want to hear some jazz.
It's going to be somebody who sparks it though. It's going to be somebody who can come up, go against it and spark it. Yeah. Who does it? I don't know.
I think the aliens coming to the earth is the only thing that's gonna stop that shit.
Think about this. Drake has been consistent for how many years?
Yeah.
Why hasn't Drake decided to just go independent? Think about it.
It's two reasons.
Something's stopping him.
Because he's part of a system.
You love it.
All right, but imagine Drake is fully aware, and they're aware that if he steps away from it and just says, "Hey y'all, I'm dropping the show myself," because I can, as an independent artist, I can go on Spotify as I feel like it. Mm-hmm. All he has to do is drop his own shit.
But what
happens?
But I think he has the luxury of doing that. He can tell them like, "Hey, I'm gonna drop when I want to drop."
But why don't you do it? Don't you think he'll make more? Why don't think he does?
I think he does it.
There's some reason.
I think he does it. I think he has that much control.
And just don't say shit. He just acts like
he does. He does what he wants to do, and the people gonna be like, "All right, that's when you want to drop Drake. Cool. You gonna push it back? Okay, cool. What the fuck else you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? You talking about one of the biggest artists in the fucking world. So I don't know.
He said aliens and AI, right? Yeah, something going on.
Yeah, I think the world AI is about to change the world.
That's why Kanye flipping the fuck out right now.
Is he? On. I ain't even paying attention no more.
It's just I've been stopped that. He about to drop though. He's about to drop.
That shit
back cursing now. Yeah.
It gets old, bro. Like the same show. Like, you know what I mean? How many times I'm gonna tune into the bullshit? How many times you gonna run a jig up on me? You know what I'm saying? You gonna come out here saying some crazy shit, then drop an album. Like how many times I'm gonna see you do this right in front of my face? How many times I'm gonna keep falling for it?
People do it though. It's crazy.
But
listen, that's what I'm saying. Wild. He's a special type of person. In other words, I don't think he's special. I'm just saying, some reason Kanye can say what the hell he wants to say, piss everybody off, and people somehow forget it when he disappears for a while. But there's always people.
King of outrage culture.
There's people in this world, right, who are just think about in high school days. There's people who somehow they can do some lame ass shit, and then somehow come back like nothing happened. Like just certain people have that superpower. I don't know what it is. I don't, you know what I mean? You just got that superpower. I think he just has that superpower. But how much people do we have out here with that superpower? How many people do we have like now who are those people? Yeah. Because when they hop on these tracks, I be pissed off. I'm like, come on. Why you, girl Glorilla? She fucked up Uchiwali. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like
I was so angry.
I be having like the I always think about oppression. I be going left when I think about music and shit all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Because they put certain shit in the airwaves to affect our culture.
Yep.
They made it cool to sell drugs. They made it cool, you know what I mean? And you gotta think like, all right, if it's these other people of not our culture controlling the whole business, right? And they want to keep us in a certain space. They're gonna feed us certain kind of music. To be like, all right, the drug shit, to sell drugs, shoot a nigga. Like back in my day, it was the DMX. Shoot a nigga, kill a nigga. You know what I'm saying? We were the drug sellers. Now these new age niggas are drug users. You dig what I'm saying? And they just put it in the music. And now I feel like they're aiming at females. Now they're saying, hey, put these females that's talking about this most degrading shit to say, hey, fuck a nigga, leave them and catch, you know what I'm saying? Do all this crazy shit and making that shit cool. And there's some real impressionable teenagers out here right now.
But their minds are really fucked up, though.
From 16 and 19 years old, it's about to be just out here doing some dumb shit based on it.
But their minds really fucked up. Like maybe a couple of years back, my grandmother passed. I was single then, of course. But like I went through a weird phase. I was fucking with strippers. I was doing certain things. Like I really didn't want no attachments like that for 5 years or so, whatever. And I was, messing with strippers.
I knew you doing that period. Continue.
So like I was messing with strippers, whatever, like, just different type of people. Because for one, I also like the conversations. They had interesting ways of thinking. Like, damn, that's how you feel? That's wild. I'm the guy in the strip club who sits next to a stripper and be like, so how you feel? Like, I don't know why I was like that. I did it all the time though.
That's crazy. I never been a strip club nigga.
Bro, I really wasn't. I would just pop in that bitch and just have conversations. And most
that's
of
a weird ass place to pull up and have a conversation.
Listen, it's interesting. I'm trying to tell you. I get it though. Listen, you will be surprised at how a stripper thinks. Like you will be extremely surprised.
Yeah. But I believe they have different minds because to be able to compartmentalize, to get up there and do that, what you do, like, you know what I'm saying, to not care, you know what I mean, to not like cherish that part of yourself, to want to keep it private from the world.
The thing is that a lot of them want. They just don't know how to want, and they don't know how to put themselves out there to get what they want. And they can't understand why it's not coming back to them. So since they can't communicate it, they act a certain way. But a particular female, she was a bit younger. And I was like, I didn't know you've been this young. Either way, I was just talking to her and listening to her speak. And I was like, you really think this? Like, it blew my fucking mind how she was viewing stuff. And I can tell when she was talking, she really wanted a lot more. But she didn't understand that how she was thinking would never give her it. Like she didn't get it. Like she didn't understand it.
So you have a conversation with a bunch of strippers.
Yep.
Right? So now I'm only assuming. I feel like a lot of them, their fathers weren't in their lives.
Funny thing is that one I was talking about just now, live with her dad. I was confused as hell.
I would assume.
But some of them do have daddy. They do have it. And when you're too nice to them, they're attached to you. So a lot of the strippers I would talk to from with a Gen X or the Fantasy or G-Spot, just because I would just talk to them normal, they'd attach to me. You know what I mean? Or, like
most women.
They'd really attach close, but like it was like I did no work. Like it was no work. Don't worry about that. Hit me about the club.
Game
like
101, boy.
Give me, you know what I mean? But like, I really was just trying to have conversations or just like talk to them. You know, if I indulged in shit, then I was single, shit, whatever. You know what I mean? But I told them the truth.
Yeah.
But point being is like the conversations I would have with them, either they're older or younger. The older ones knew exactly what they were doing. Now they were just like, look, I'm in school right now, boom, boom, boom. I need this shit. Like they just knew what was up. It was different with them. But the younger ones, they truly just like, let me get this money, boom, 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 boom. But then they wanted all the attributes of a guy who cared for them. And I was like, you're not doing what requires that, right?
Requires that, right?
Like, you're not doing that, right? You know the fact that I didn't even ask you to come here tonight. You just offered yourself over. I didn't even say, hey, pull up to me. Like, they just, hey, where you at? I'm like, I'm about to go over here, boom, boom. Like, I'll give them the wrong address purposely across the street or another place. And, oh, yeah, my bad, boom, boom, and drive them to the spot, whatever. And they be like, you don't know where you at? I'm like, I'm drunk as hell, baby girl, boom, boom, boom. She's like, oh, that's crazy. I'm like, come on now. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's talking to you? And I don't know what her dad's situation is. You feel me? But she lived with her father. But point being is that's just but their interpretations were based off of City Girls. That's when City Girls first popped off.
Yeah, music influenced like a motherfucker, man. I don't really like it. You know what I mean?
They don't want love no more. The girls don't want no love.
It's kind of fucked up, man.
They don't want love no more.
But then again, like, I like to celebrate success of people, especially when they come from nothing. Like, man, so it's a very thin line between, like, I celebrate people like, what's that girl name? Sexy Red. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can see, like, I feel like
I actually like her.
I can relate, you know what I'm saying? But it just her demeanor. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, me as an adult, right? I understand, like, all right, that shit cool, whatever the case is. Like, I don't mind it, but I also know that they're putting this girl out there on all the airways where the kids can consume this. You know what I'm saying? The teenagers, the most influential motherfuckers that might be going through some bullshit. They might be having daddy issues. They might have mama issues. They might have got sexually assaulted, or they might don't think of themselves that well. And then you looking for somebody you look up to, and you look at this star that's very accessible, all on the radio. You know what I'm saying? And you can fall right into that. It's all right to get out there and shake your ass and fuck niggas over and use dudes. You know what I'm saying? And that mentality is kind of like, as black women, we already know what time it is. If we thinking like that, if we thinking like, man, fuck these bitches. And you know what I'm saying? We know what that shit does to our structure as a race. If we have our women thinking that same way.
Yeah, I mean, but
the younger ones coming up like that.
Now the industry's helping that out. I think Sexy Red is being herself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I actually be 1,000 out of most of the female rap chicks. Like I mean, as far as like authentication, like I think she's being extremely authentic. I think she's just being herself. Like
I think so too.
She's just being herself, and people are using her. But I think she's being herself. They just realized, let me push this shit. Same way how they push Chief Keef.
And that's the shit that gets me. It just fucks with me, dog. Because I realize that they pushing this shit on purpose. But what's the purpose?
The thing is this, though, right? So I think the quality of music just went down. But if you think about, I remember when Tip Drill first came out, Nelly. It's Nelly. If you think about Nelly right now, you're like, nigga, it's Nelly. Like, you're not thinking like he was X-rated. But he was on BT After Dark, and he had the credit card swipe. That was like, oh my God. Like, it was the biggest shit in the world. Like, for Nelly and Ludacris when he did, I can't remember the song he did back then. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I remember.
Pussy Poppin', like ass out, pussy poppin'. Like, those were big deals.
Yeah.
But the quality of music at that time period was different, and I think the people cared about music a bit more. I think the younger generation doesn't really care as much. They just know what people want to hear. But the industry always understood.
What is that?
I want to do. The younger generation, they care about doing drugs all day.
They want to do it.
But I was the same way, dog. Like, I ain't listen to Nelly. I listen to the Locks. I listen to DMX. I listen to all, you know what I'm saying? I listen to all that hardcore shit, Mobb Deep and shit like that. That was my shit. And them, they were the drug sellers.
Yep.
And so I grew up, and guess what I started doing?
Sounds right.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't no big time drug, but I was teenager doing dumb shit. You know what I mean?
Right. But I think it's normal. That's what I'm saying. I think what's happening is normal. I just think that
I think that's what I think is not normal though.
No. Okay. Even what we thought back then was normal wasn't okay, but it was normal to us.
Yes.
I'm saying the normalcy of right now is normal to them. It's just the fact that they've always had somebody above them to move them around and push them like, oh, he's the one. He got the superpower. Push him. You know what I mean? They understand it. You know what I mean? And that's what's happening. You know, but if that person elevates too much, he's whack as hell. Let's find somebody else. Like, you know what I mean? If they elevate, you know what I mean? Once he elevates and gets a little better, like, oh, I'm gonna take it serious now. Nigga, what? What do you mean? Get stupid again. Like they don't like it. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you on that. All right. So I'm gonna ask both of y'all boys one question, right? And then I'm gonna do the intros like I mentioned you before, and then we'll close the shit out. All right. So you've been down for 7, right? Be straight up. All right. So if you had the opportunity to talk to a young boy, right? That he ain't got locked up yet, but he was kind of on the same wave as you. Like, how you feel like you could reach him?
I will reach him how I want to be reached at that time where I was at. Like, I didn't have nobody just like come with me, take my hand and show me every step of the way. So I'm gonna make sure I guide him in every step of the way. I mean, I'm gonna guide him my best.
So what's your why though? Like so if I would, so picture if I'm the guy on the other side, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm looking like, yo, why should I listen to you, bro? Like, nigga, you got caught.
Yeah,
that's mad mentality, right? Now you know how misguided that is, but how would you know what I mean?
I don't want him. I tell him I don't want you to get caught. Like, eventually, that's what gonna happen. So you come reality, there's gonna be 2 other options. You got dead or in jail. So if I could, because what he doing is chasing money. So if I could teach him another way of chasing money, it'd be put the engine the right way.
So you think that's what you was doing? You think you was, well, I'm talking about at the root of it. You think you was just chasing money, or you think you was doing, it was a different reason why you was doing what you was doing?
I was chasing money.
You was chasing money?
I want that money.
So you ain't never had he's like, yo, I'm gonna end up dead in jail. That ain't never.
I was looking at the money. I was blindsided to the money.
You ain't care about nothing
else. I wasn't even thinking I was going to jail until I went to prison.
Damn.
I wasn't even thinking. I just want that money.
Yeah, the reason I asked you that is because there's a lot of people in life, yo, that's like right there. They ain't never got caught. They ain't never got jammed up before. You know what I mean? And they still outside and they blinded by the money just like you. So when you come around and be like, yo, like if you pull them to the side, like how you feel like you gonna reach them? If they blinded by the money.
If they blinded by the money, I tell them it's another way of making money. I'm gonna show them how to.
Word.
The information I could offer, people are offering $20,000 for. They'll pay $20,000 or better for this information. You know what I mean? So if I take this dude hand, and that's my goal, because I got so many young people that's like look up to me and doing the same shit I was doing. I know I could take at least one or two of them. You know what I mean? Change their train of thinking.
Yeah. Word.
You know what I mean? Because it's only a certain extent that you go be making in them streets.
Yeah, you're right.
You ain't really. It's a facade. You ain't making no real money.
Yeah, it is a
You know
facade.
what I'm saying? You taking a bigger risk out there for less amount of money, where you could take a big risk and get way more money. I'm talking about M's.
That part.
Instead of you wasting on being a thousandaire. You know what I mean? So
that message right there is what young motherfuckers need to hear.
Yeah.
Because that's the disconnect. Because when you say you're blinded by the money, and you know what I'm saying, it's all subjective. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's money? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're only making X amount of dollars, but you could be making this and be making way less risk, you know what I'm saying? The smart thing to do would be to slide that way.
And what is money? Money only make options.
Yes.
So when you ever got the money, if I tell you, yo, fix your credit, I got the people that's in the bank, you get $150,000, you dealing with me less than 2 months. What you gonna do? You ain't never seen 50, I mean, majority of the young generation, they ain't seeing that much money.
Hell no.
You know what I mean? It's too corrupted. You know what I mean? So what you go, all right, y'all, and I'm gonna teach you how, after you get the money, I'm gonna teach you what to do and how to do it. Invest in. I'm not just gonna give you the money, because that just like give you no money.
Yeah, fact.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
real shit.
You got to have a plan. We always got keep one foot in the other. You know what I mean? So to keep us on the right track.
Fact.
And this is what I went through for my flaws. You know what I mean? So I want to teach them. Anybody that come behind me, I'm teaching them the better. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. All right, for you, I'm gonna switch it a little bit though, because you had the health shit, right?
Yeah.
So what could you tell somebody that they feel healthy? They've been to the, you know what I'm saying? Nothing been wrong. They ain't been to, you know what I'm saying? Every time they went to the hospital, won't shit wrong. Like, you had your shit come into your life when you got real sick in the moment, right?
Right.
What can you tell a person that's, you know what I'm saying, on the verge of that? Or tell a person that's, you know what I'm saying, just out here just living, that hadn't had nothing bad happen to them yet?
I can use my story. You know, when leukemia is cancer of your bone marrow, right? When if you think about certain stuff like that, you think about that's the end road. That's just, you know, if you think about cancer, AIDS, all that stuff, whatever, you think that's it. And I was, you know, I've done chemo like maybe once or twice, and I will explain to the story the fact that I did chemo once or twice, and I studied it. I researched roots. I researched natural herbs, and I felt like, okay, if I'm gonna do something to help me, but I'm gonna poison myself in the same time, how does that make any sense? How does it don't make, anybody who I've seen who went through chemo beat it. When cancer comes back, it destroys them. And I had people who I knew in my life, Amber, certain people around here, they knew about it, and they did it, and it took them out when it came back. Now, I learned this in 2014. It's 2023. My health, my immune system, because when I first found out about it, my immune system was 200. So there's a certain number that tells you where your immune system is, whether it works. When I went in there, my immune system was 120. The max is like 1500. Anything under 200, you're not fighting no more. It means anything can take you out. It's not the cancer or the AIDS or them things that kills people. It's the fact that your immune system is no longer working. That's what kills people. Damn. Now, explain to them the fact that the second I decided to start working out and changing my eating habits, I went from 120 to 560 in 8 months. And I've been sitting great since then.
What got your immune system down? It was the leukemia?
Well, the leukemia itself attacking my body. It's autoimmune disease. It was destroying it. It was beating me down constantly. And also my drinking habits. my eating habits. I used to love Fantas. I used to love like my drinking, my eating. I didn't like breakfast. I went to Huddle House and got burgers in the morning. Like I never put on weight now. I just
Eating bad.
I just ate horrible. Constantly. I didn't work out. I didn't sleep much. I drank all the time.
That was a key banger.
You know what I'm saying? So when I started researching stuff, it was about if you put work into your body, it can fight for you. And to this day, you know what I mean? Like they tricked me twice on trying COVID, trying chemo. But after I just quit the second time, my numbers never really fluctuated.
It's wild how that shit works.
Right, because they're paid to keep you sick.
Yes.
So when they check my blood, it's not detected. So my point, I would tell anybody who's going through that, understand, look, your body is your temple. The only thing in this world you truly own is yourself. And you have a responsibility to take care of yourself. And so I would teach awareness. I'll explain to them, this is what's going on with me right now. And the doctors can't fuck with me. I only go every 6 months now. I used to go every 2 weeks, then eventually every 90 days. Now I go every 6 months to get checked because they know, oh, he's good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think a lot of the medical system is structured around motherfuckers that don't take care of themselves.
Right. So
You know what I'm
so if we can do that, if I can do that, and you have nothing going on with you, imagine what you can do with yourself. Imagine how long you can live. Imagine how good you can feel.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you exactly what I did to feel good. And most people walk around don't even know how I feel or how my body feels. You can't even tell.
Yeah, word.
So if you can't tell, imagine how you would feel if nothing's going on with you and you just treat your body differently. Imagine how great you'll feel. Imagine what you can attain. Imagine that time when you're laying down, you don't feel like going to work. You get up like, I'm lit. Let me start this business, because that extra business is going to take more work than working for somebody else.
Yeah.
So imagine if you have the energy to handle that. Imagine if you change the way you consume foods. Imagine if you turn around and look at nutrition facts on the back of stuff and realize, I ain't good for me. Like, imagine if you go to the doctor and they tell you, hey, you're G6PD deficiency. You have a G6PD deficiency, or you got this going on with you, or you're low on vitamin C, D8. Like, they'll tell you what's up. So now when I go to the doctors, I get blood work done. I what's that mean? And what's that mean? What's that mean?
Yeah,
I figure everything out.
Fact.
And study it, and I go to get my natural roots, and I take care of myself, and I feel great. So I would tell them that. Learn about yourself. That's the most important thing you got. You own yourself forever.
Real shit.
Love yourself enough to do whatever you can to make sure you're the best version of yourself possible.
Listen, man, I can attest to that. Like, and I told this story a couple times on this podcast before, but I got shot a couple years ago. And when I woke up in the hospital, just to make it short, when I woke up in the hospital, the doctor just happened to be walking in the room at the same time. And the first thing he said to me, he came in, I remember he opened up the little thing. And I mean, I just literally opened my eyes, kind of like, damn, like I had to like that realization, like, damn, I lived, like, you know what I'm saying?
That's great.
And the first thing he said to me was like, yo, the only reason you alive is because you take care of yourself. Just like that. And you know what I mean, when I got shot, like the couple years before that, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, man, I had been really fucking taking care of myself. I've been eating a whole lot better. I've been, you know what I'm saying? I've always taken care of myself over the years. I've always worked out. Like I say that. I didn't always eat the best, but I always took care of my body. I always made sure I was doing cardio and doing different weights and keeping agile and shit like that. So, but again, that's the first thing he told me. He said, the only reason you alive is because you take care of yourself. And that shit stuck with me. You know what I mean? And that shit made me realize, I was like, yo, it's the same shit, bro. You never know what the fuck is around the corner. You never know what's gonna happen. You don't never know when it's gonna happen. It might be a car accident. It might not be you. You could be chilling. Somebody else's fault. You get in a car accident, and the fact that you didn't take care of yourself would be the reason why you bleed out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The reason why you won't make it to the ambulance get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you could have survived if you would have been in better, you know what I'm saying? Better condition. Your body was in better condition. I tell people that all the time, man. Listen, take care of yourself now, because there'll come a day where that shit's gonna matter. It's gonna matter. All that processed food, all the way you treat your body, it's gonna come a day, all that shit gonna catch up with you, and that shit gonna matter. And it might not be when you get old. In my situation, I was 20-something years old when a nigga shot me.
Right.
I ain't planning on getting shot the day I left the crib. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't in a place where I was even expected to get shot at. You know what I'm saying? When that shit happened to me, so life on life.
Life on life.
Life on life, and so if you know that it's inevitable. You're gonna get old. Some shit might come out of nowhere. So start taking care of yourself now.
Right now.
Because you never fucking know. You know what I mean?
Unorthodox Haven Podcast.